What up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the Horsemen, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, and of course the one and only NYG Jeffy T, still shining that light down above us ever so brightly. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go!
Let's get it. What amazing intro, Mac, as always, coming in the clutch with the intro. But yes, guys, happy Friday to everybody. Thank you for joining us on another Friday afternoon and a little bit shorter show for you guys today. But before we begin, I just wanted to ask the boys, how's their week been? I know it's been long. Hopefully, both of you guys is off this weekend. You guys don't have to work. But let's just start with Mac and then pass it over with Adam. How's your week been?
And the week has been brutal. My job is working me into the goddamn ground. But I'm still standing. I'm still here with my guys. You know what I mean? Ain't no more oversleeping. That ain't happening no more. I'm here with y'all. I'm definitely, but everything's all good. It's all good to go, man. We all good. And I got a fun weekend planned. So just let's do it.
The week, man. You know, when you have kids, it just goes by quick. You know, I can't believe we're in the middle of May, halfway through the year almost. It's crazy to think that. And yeah, a lot going on in sports. So it's fun to be alive.
Definitely a lot going on, and we already got 30 people watching. I know a majority of them is from Twitter, so thank you guys all for watching from Twitter. If you guys you guys can always come on YouTube and leave a comment. We will make sure we get to it. Thank you guys all, fam, for watching, and we really appreciate it. Even if you're listening to on your drive home, maybe stuck in traffic on the West Coast, maybe you're listening to us, we really appreciate that. Alrighty, guys, we're gonna have two major topics today. Number one, obviously, schedule released this week. We're gonna go over the Giants' schedule as a unit. We're gonna, basically, this is how it's gonna work when we review the schedule. We're gonna all go game by game, and then the two out of the three people that says a win and a loss is going to go under the Premium Takes schedule. So we're going to do it as a unit. I know Mac is going to release a video on his channel eventually. I know Adam's probably going to do a hurry up where he's going to cover the schedule on his channel eventually, individual overall record for the Giants. But on today's episode, we are going to do it as a unit.
Here's my video, 5 and 12. There you go. That's my video.
Yeah, we already did that. We did it on Wednesday.
You guys did it on Wednesday? All right, we're gonna compare that to the one we're gonna do this week, and then I'm gonna add in my takes on per teams. But major topic is going on right now. Obviously, it's the NBA playoffs, so that is gonna probably take up more than half a majority of our show tonight. We do have the Knicks playing the Pacers right now. We'll give updates as the game goes on, guys. But let's get to some series that basically closed out. Soon to be closed. We do have the Celtics. I don't want to say I told you guys. The Celtics are just built different this year, but I don't want to gloat too much. They still have a tough out against whoever makes it against the Pacers and the Knicks. But I knew kind of, that choke up against the Cavaliers was exactly that. Just slight mishap. They did it this season against the Miami Heat. They did it throughout the season. They get on the streak and then they lose, and you're like, how did you guys lose by that? You shouldn't have lost by that. And they turn it around and they pick up it streaking again. I do want to point out that they did it without Porzingis. He was fully out. Hopefully he's ready for the finals of the Eastern Conference. But they did it with Horford on the floor, and that's a shout out to the Celtics, and not really a shout out. I don't want to give the Celtics too much praise because they did buy their fucking team this year. So let's not mistake that, guys. They bought their fucking team this year. And, the reason why they're favorites to win it all is because they bought their fucking team. So basically, I'm going to open up the mics to Let's Story Mac, and then we'll turn it over to Adam. What you thought about the Celtics versus Cavaliers matchup? Did you watch it? Were you into it? If you didn't watch it, who do you want to see the Celtics play between the Pacers and the Knicks? Basically, the floor is yours, my man.
I mean, I didn't really watch much because you know how I roll. But at the end of the day, Celtics, like I said it last week, and I stand by what I said. They're the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. They will find a way to fuck it up. And And okay, they got past Cleveland. I think pretty
Oh,
much most of
Matt's
us
in the
expected them
house.
to do that anyway.
Yeah, if you
Here we are now. Now they're waiting for the Knicks or the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals Tuesday night to get that thing underway. And the Celtics, they'll find a way to just do what they always do. I believe they'll just find a way to end up folding. And I think looking at this series right now, the Knicks and the Pacers, the way they're getting after it, man, these two teams are gonna be coming to that series, whichever one of them it is, very much battle tested and ready to go, man. And they're not gonna be intimidated by the Celtics at all. But we will see. I mean, right now, Celtics are sitting pretty, waiting, and they're waiting. They took care of business, closed out Cleveland last night, but until the Celtics prove me wrong, they'll just be the Cowboys of the NBA as far as I'm concerned. They'll always find a way to screw it up.
I
So
love it. Alrighty. Adam, what is your take on the Celtics versus the Cavaliers?
They handled their business. This is what they needed to do. And they advance to the next round. I think this is where they need to find themselves. They get to this point in the season the last couple of years, and they've fallen short in the finals in 2022, and then last year, obviously, in the Eastern Conference Finals. Porzingis might be coming back. There's rumors that he's coming back, so we'll see what happens on that end. But for me, this was kind of a foregone conclusion. And if the Knicks handle their business, which they might, the elimination games are always the hardest for people. But if they handle their business tonight, they'll be facing it, and you'll get the rivalry of New York versus Boston, and you'll get that rivalry that does so well. Now, the thing I will say about Boston is that when their two scorers are on, they're hard to beat. Okay, there are two scorers being Tatum and Brown. Those guys really, really have changed what Boston has done the last couple of years. And really, Tatum needs to be the guy that comes through because Brown usually scores his points. He usually gets about 20 points a game, regardless. Sometimes he puts in, 40 sometimes, but he usually lands around 20, 25 points. But it's Tatum who needs to be the facilitator, the guy that's really taking over the game, right? In the finals, that was his problem. And then last year, he had a cold streak in the Eastern Conference when they needed him the most. He just was not hitting a shot when they needed him. And this is what they need. Tatum needs to show up. Tatum needs to show you why he's considered one of the top 5 players in the NBA, period. And that's me. I liked him ever since he came to the league. I picked him as a star
Happy Friday to you
for a while. I didn't know you guys when he was there, so people can say, well, Adam, that's hearsay, you're talking out of your ass. No, the people I talked to, I pegged Tatum for when he was coming up as a rookie. I was like, that guy's going to be a star. So but Tatum has to be the guy. This is the thing. Jaylen Brown can't be Batman. Tatum has to be Batman. Tatum has to be the guy. Jaylen Brown is Robin, and he's
100% agree with that.
He's a great Robin. But if he's Batman and you have Tatum being Robin, they don't produce the same way. Call me crazy. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, when Tatum doesn't score, it's as if the Boston Celtics can't do anything. Now, if Porzingis comes back, that may be able to help eliminate some of the non-scoring when the scoring drought happens, right? That's why you bring a guy like Horford and Porzingis because they can still stretch the floor for you as bigs. And they're going to need him, Porzingis, if they play the Knicks, because I do believe the Knicks, if the Knicks advance, have a better set of bigs and they clean up the glass a lot better than most teams. And it's because they out-physical the bigs. If you look at the Pacer game right now, and I don't mean to I don't mean to transition into that game. I'm just trying to give you a comparison. The problem with the Pacer game right now is the second chance points have eluded them because the Knicks bigs. So what I'm worried about with these Eastern Conference teams is when they get to the Western Conference and they play a Jokic or somebody along those lines that actually have bigs that can defend and guard and rebound, will they be able to overcome some of the deficiencies that they have? The Knicks were able to do it because of defense. Boston can do it, obviously, because, again, nobody in the East is Jokic, right? So nobody needs to worry about that. So that's what I worry about with the Eastern Conference teams. If they put it together, Boston should be able to handle a series against a Western Conference opponent.
Well said, both of you guys, and a lot of great takes you guys made right there. And Adam is absolutely right about that Tatum take. He is supposed to be, and it really is a superstar, but his ceiling is through the roof, and he just gets lazy on the court at times. And
I don't know if it's but there's something that goes on sometimes where he just can't seem to book it.
For me, no, you're good. For me, what I see, I call it lazy. For me, he just daydreams sometimes. It's like you need to fully lock in at moments. And I think for the reason why they bring in Derek White, they bring in a Porzingis, they bring in a Drew Holiday is because, Tatum and Brown clearly can't get it done by themselves. And Adam was right on Tatum needs to elevate to that Batman level and Jaylen Brown being the Robin. And the max point, absolutely right up facts on that too. It happens every single year. It's Cowboys of the Eastern Conference in the NBA. It just is what it is. I am writing all of my hopes. I don't even have anything in this playoffs. I'm not even betting on these games, but I'm talking like I'm a Boston fan because they got me believing. But Mac is right about that. When you have a team that is like the Cowboys, and then to transition to a team like the Knicks, who just is playing with heart, playing with ambition, playing long minutes, and they don't give a F. They're out here. They're gonna get into your face. They're gonna play great defense and gritty team, and they remind me a lot. Honestly, I know I always try to pull Miami into this, but they remind me a lot of Miami, the way we play it, and doing it with injuries. You know what I'm saying? I love that about the Knicks, and I don't know why I'm not on the Knicks how I should be, being that they remind me a lot of my team. But that being said, we're gonna
because Miami fans hate the Knicks. So subliminally, you're not a fan because of all the rivalry that the Knicks and the Heat have had. That's like in the Yankees. It's like it's not necessarily playing the Boston Red Sox, but put whatever other rivalry you have up there. The Orioles. You want no Yankee fan wants the Orioles to ever do well, because that's just what they do. Even if the Orioles could have the best team, the Yankees don't want to hear the Orioles name, that like that. And I know they're pretty close in proximity. Not that far away, right?
That's and to be honest, too, I have no ties to New York. So, I grew up on the island with no NFL team, and I chose the Giants. Never been to New York. Never even been past the middle line of the country. That being said, though, I have no ties to New York, right? So, the fact that if I grew up in the New York area, close to New York, a state maybe on the eastern coast. But maybe I have my ties to New York. But that being said, though, we are going to transition. I want Adam. How about you begin, and then you can pass it over to Mac. What do you think about this series, man? Pacers are literally out here fighting for every single chance that they have for a 6 seed. I do want to give them credit. I'm not saying that the Knicks should have swept them. I'm not saying that at all. But the Pacers are out here fighting for everything, man. And the Knicks, I do believe they win tonight's game. That is soon to be decided, though. It's 35-35 tied up right now. But I'm going to let Adam begin and then turn the mic over to Mac.
Well, this series has been all that it's cracked up to be. If you've been a Knicks fan, this is a throwback series for you. They're chanting, "Fuck you, Reggie," in the Garden, because obviously Reggie Miller did the famous choke job to them back in the day. And I was telling somebody, I had a phone call recently with a friend who called me and was just checking up on me. And he goes, I go to him, I'm like, this Knicks team is bringing people back to basketball because of what they're doing. They're dunking on people. They're finishing at the rim. They're doing second chance points. They give no fucks. Okay. They just out there playing ball all day, every day. And I said, this reminds you of those old Knicks teams where you didn't have necessarily all superstars, but you had some good players. I mean, Brunson's playing out of his mind. He's playing like an MVP, really takes over a game, even though he's injured. The guy that I love the most on the Knicks, though, is Josh Hart. I think he's the glue on that team. I really do believe, you need a player that's going to steady your team. And Josh Hart is that guy. He comes through with rebounds. He comes through with defense. He comes through with points. And he's constantly, everywhere. And he's kind of the emotional stick, kind of the emotional glue for this team. Even though they had some injuries, OG is out and a few other guys got injured. Hart's been there, and I think if they don't have Hart, I think they'd still be good with Brunson, but I think Brunson needs sort of a Robin, and Hart is doing everything that he can. He's not a superstar, but he's one of those players that's just solid. He's a very good player. I guess if I would go back to my old teams, he'd be like a Kendall Gill or a player like that who can play, who's got some all-around game to it. He's not necessarily the best player, but he gives you heart on defense. He can score points when needed, and he's just an overall solid player. Mac knows what I'm talking about. That's why I laughed Kendall Gill back in the day. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. But he's a solid player. So for me, that this is old school. And the one thing I was telling my friend who called me, I said, the reason the Knicks are good right now against a team like the Pacers is because you look at what Rick Carlisle likes to do. What's Rick Carlisle's main thing? He likes to pass the ball to get an open shot, right? That's what he did with Dallas. That's what he's doing now with the Pacers. And when the Pacers do that, they run up and down the floor and create their own shot, they're almost unstoppable. But with that being said, when you're a team like the Knicks and you play bully ball and you're playing full court press and you're getting in front of guys and you're constantly being pesky, I think you saw it in game 1 of the series when the Pacers were trying to pull away. They couldn't quite pull away due to the fact that the Knicks were always there stifling them on defense and getting the shots, like the shots that you normally would get, the Knicks were rebounding on. The Pacers weren't getting second chance points. They weren't getting those it is, especially for a team that passes, right? Full court press, like the difference between Brunson and the Knicks, they can play full court press because they have a guy who can take the ball at the floor and they can move methodically. Their offense doesn't really predicate on always passing the ball to get open. They have movement, and they allow Brunson to do his thing, and he'll make the decision. The Pacers, on the other hand, aren't like that. If you look at all their team, they don't have anybody that can grab the glass. Siakam is more of an offensive player. But what happens is Siakam spends so much energy on defense that then he loses his energy for the offensive side.
Has kind of been a letdown this season as well.
Right. But what I'm saying is Siakam is a third, fourth option. They're trying to make him the main guy, trying to build their team around him. And that's not him. What you would need to do is get a rim protector and then bring in Siakam to play center or power forward for you to kind of stretch the floor, like the stretch fours back in the day where you have a center who doesn't necessarily take threes, but he can take a jumper, allows people to come away from the glass. Because what Siakam's supposed to be doing is he's supposed to be allowing your bigs to be out by the perimeter so that way the rebounds are able to be fair. What's happening is the Knicks know that they're bigger than them, so they crash the boards, and the second chance opportunities have really killed the Pacers in this series so far. Now, I haven't watched tonight's game, so I can't really give you that rundown, but I kind of figured the Pacers would be fighting for their lives because, as we saw in this series, the home teams hold serve, and I wouldn't be surprised if down the stretch the Knicks kind of the dam breaks a little bit, and they're like, okay, whatever. They wave the white flag a little bit, knowing that they have a game 7. I'm not saying they want to give up, but if the game is like a couple points out of reach, 5 points with a minute to go or something like that, they may pull some of their starters, give some young guys some minutes just so they can be rested for game 7 if that happens. What you want to do, hardest thing to do is eliminate your team, and you're on their home floor. So like I was telling my friend today, this game is for all the marbles. And it's funny, I'm going to reference something that I saw yesterday. The Rangers played, right? They were playing, and I know it's not hockey, but they were playing. When we talk about playoffs and giving it all you got, there was a play by the Carolina Hurricanes where the Rangers went up to score. They trickled the puck right through the net, right through the guy's legs, kind of trickled through, and a guy dove to stop the Ranger player, and his momentum carried him to the goal, and he stuck out his stick and stopped the puck inches short of going over the red line and lighting the lamp. And when I watched that play, I was like, wow, this is playoff this is playoff hockey, and that's what you're getting with the Pacers right now. You're going to get a relentless attitude. They're going to get a no. They're going to throw everything at them. You're going to probably see extra dives here, extra hustle plays by the Pacers because they know this is it.
They're fighting for their lives.
Right. So, and Carolina did last night too. And it just was that play in the second period kind of epitomized. They ended up losing the game, Carolina. but it was just a play that stood out to me that I think typifies what the playoffs are. And I think I saw a lot of that with the Pacers and Knicks, guys doing the extra that you need to do to win these games, right? You look at Denver, they've come back out of nowhere. So I think you're going to see a quite highly contested game down the stretch. And I think the Pacers are best when they run. And that's where they have an advantage, is running up and down the floor. But I'll give it to Mac. I've talked enough about the game. I'll let him chime in.
I mean, you said a lot there, and everything was great. I mean, look, this series is just like you said. It's just great, old school Pacers Knicks. It's
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
it's just to me. No, it's just to me. It's just classic, classic rivalries.
It feels old school.
Old school. If you remember, man, you remember, man. Absolutely,
Zion,
man. It just gives you that.
sorry,
That,
Zion doesn't know what we're talking about.
yeah, I mean, if you had to be there, I mean, the series used to be just so crazy. The way Reggie Miller
I'm
would
just happy
torment the
you guys are
Madison Square
enjoying
Crowd. I
basketball.
mean,
That's what I'm happy
him and
for.
Spike Lee were like a legit rivalry, man. They like really couldn't stand each other. Reggie and Spike Lee, man, like it was just awesome back.
It was
in the day.
great.
But
And now they're cursing at him and stuff. But it was funny. It's funny you say that, Mac, because
Let Mac talk, Adam. Let Mac talk.
one second. I just want to touch on what Zion said. You said to bring us back to basketball. I think the Knicks being in the playoffs does that for everybody. Bring them back to basketball when they're good. Sorry, Mac.
I love that. No, you good. That's facts. That's facts.
no, absolutely, that's a great point. And then another thing you just brought up when you brought up Josh Hart, man. Like Josh Hart is that kind of guy that every team needs like at least one Josh Hart on their team, man. Like he's that kind of I don't want to really say grimy, but he's going to do what it takes. He's going to keep working. He's going to grind, man. And like you said, he hits you from all angles. He gets the rebounds. He plays the defense. He scores the points. I mean, the kid can do a little bit of everything. Like he'll never necessarily be the best player on the court, but he's gonna work your ass off. He's gonna make you earn everything you.
But
get.
his impact is
So,
felt.
shout
Though.
out
You know
to
what I mean?
Josh Hart, man. Absolutely. So he does it. I mean, he was the same kind of. This is what got him drafted in the NBA because at Villanova when he went to Nova, he wasn't expected to be, one of their top guys necessarily. But at the end of the day, he with that work ethic went out there and he did what he had to do, and he was a big time contributor on a national championship team. So Josh Hart, man, is out there balling. So he definitely deserves the accolades you just gave to him. You know what I mean? Shout out to Josh Hart for real, no doubt.
Who's the other guy that
But
played
this has
for
been,
Villanova?
like
It was Brunson.
you said,
Wasn't there three of them on the Knicks that played?
DiVincenzo.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know that he.
DiVincenzo. Yeah, he was the MVP of the Final Four when they won the national championship. But
Wow.
yeah, this team here, man, which is what got him drafted in the NBA. As a matter of fact, was that run he had in the national tournament that year. But let me stop. I'm going down.
Well, let me ask you
back
this
to
question real quick.
Villanova.
Do you think the NBA is going to do more of this? Try to bring players from college and put them on the same team if they can, because of the chemistry that they're seeing with the Knicks right now. Because I do believe that has a little something to do with this, understanding each other's flows. I mean, they're different play. Obviously, it's the pros, not the college game. But do you think more teams are going to say, "Hey, listen, that might be a decent strategy to start implementing"?
I mean, we'll see how far the Knicks go with it, man. See what kind of success it does truly bring them. I mean, right now they're on a good run, but at the end of the day, there's everything that you said. People do everything's a copycat league. So if something works, see something that looks like it works. You never know what teams might do. You might have the kind of mindset they might go after. Say, let's try to bring
Seems to work with
teams
Burrow.
back together or whatever.
Burrow and Chase seem to work for them. So.
I mean, so I don't know. We'll see. But this series has been absolutely great. It's been fun to watch. It's been my favorite series thus far in the entire postseason, man. And these two teams are really getting after it right now. 3 minutes to go in the half. We got the Indiana Pacers up 55-48 over the Knicks, man.
Ooh,
Trying to force a
save the
big time game
Suns.
7. So,
Oh my gosh.
but
So that's what I mean. Big time basketball by the Knicks.
Well said, boys.
When they're good,
All
it's
right.
different. When New York is good and they're in the playoffs, it brings teams together. Either you hate that part of the city, like if you're a Yankee, the Yankees are in the playoffs, you're watching for two reasons. You're watching because you're a diehard Yankee fan, or you're watching to see if the Bronx Bombers, get their shit pushed in, right? So when the Knicks are good in basketball, I think it changes what everybody does. I think they get back to watching the game and getting captivated by the Knicks because they are the what we call the Mecca of basketball. So if they're called the Mecca, you want the Mecca team in there every year, and I think they're doing a great job. Thibodeau should be coach of the year in my eyes. I don't think he will get it, but what he's done with that Knicks team in the few years he's been there, I knew he was going to change him when he got hired. I remember when it came across the radio, the Knicks hired Tom Thibodeau. I said, finally, the Knicks have done something smart, and they got a coach who will get the best out of them. So,
well said. Shout out to the Knicks, bringing back a good basketball and good sports in general to New York. Hopefully, the Giants can do the same, but I digress. That being said, we got the Thunder and the Mavericks, a series that totally shocked me. I mean, like, who am I to pick against Luka? I mean, like, he is one of the top, if not the top 3 superstars in the damn league. This guy does it all. But obviously, the chemistry with Kyrie Irving hasn't really been working all season. And then all of a sudden, they go against OKC, and then they want to be a team. So this series absolutely shocked me. I said last week that they don't have the role players to get it done. And the role players has absolutely been showing up. Kyrie has absolutely been showing up. Luka is just Luka, unicorn in himself. But that being said, I'm going to open up the mic to Mac first if he's here. I want to hear his thoughts on the Thunder versus the Mavericks. I believe that the Thunder can still climb back into it. Look what happened with the Denver Nuggets. But we'll talk about that after this game. That being said, go right ahead, Mac. What's your thoughts on this series? It looks like he stepped away. We're going to give the mic
Thunder
over to
and the
Adam.
Mavericks. It's been.
Oh, he's right there.
The
floor is yours.
Thunder and Mavericks. It's been a little different. I didn't expect it. I honestly thought Oklahoma City was going to take this, and I didn't think it was going to be that much of a struggle. But Dallas Mavericks have shown me something. Luka came out with a dominant performance last night. 2 nights ago, absolute dominant performance, and forced to take control of this series once again. Oklahoma City now is the one with their backs against the wall. So, like you guys know, I don't follow as close, like I said, like the rest of y'all do. I mean, but this Knicks and Pacers series kind of got me a little invested. But otherwise, the rest of these guys, I've just been kind of watching a little more casually here and there, seeing little things here and there. And this series here has been a bit shocking because I thought OKC had a real chance to come out of that Western Conference, and now I'm really not so sure with the way Dallas has been pushing them. So at this point, I'm not even sure OKC can win this series now. I think Dallas definitely has their confidence up on an absolute high, and I think Luka and Kyrie Irving are going to lead the way for the Mavericks to find a way to knock OKC out.
Well said. Alrighty, Adam, go right ahead.
It's interesting to see these two superstars coming together, but sometimes it takes a full season, right? 82 games plus a playoffs to kind of get your mindset right. And you're playing the same team. That also helps when you're playing a consecutive team. And Kyrie Irving tends to elevate his game a little bit in the playoffs. So things happen like that. And if they continue to play well, they're going to be a tough out. And that's what you want, right? And I think sometimes we talk about elevators, right? We talk about with quarterbacks, we talk about with NBA players. When you elevate somebody and you make them better by just your sheer play alone, that allows role players to play their roles, right? When you played with Michael Jordan, you needed to play on your level, on his level, on your best level. He's not going to he's going to demand from you to play your best. right? So if and you didn't want to let him down, right? Same thing with these players. You're not going to want to let Kyrie Irving and Luka down because you're the guy that couldn't put a shot in Tim Hardaway Jr. You know what I mean?
And Luka will curse you out on the floor as well.
Right. And what I'm saying is that, well, Jordan would have done the same thing. Jordan would have talked about your mama and shit.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is that those type of players elevate you to where when you're a role player, you play better at home because we're comfortable, and then Luka comes by, right? comes and picks you up, right? And I think that's what happens when we talk about the Boston Celtics, right? Can the Tatums of the world and Browns elevate their role players? Because when they play well, their team plays well because they, the matchups are now, oh, I got to go double Luka now. I'm open on the cutter. I'm open on the 3-point line. I've got to now just do my job and get the ball in the basket. And that changes everything. And the fact that Kyrie Irving is playing a little better, I think the chemistry. The funniest thing is they brought over basically the same player, like a ball hog. Kyrie Irving is not a guy that, and is not like who's a good player that would be a good comparison. I guess whatever wing player you would like. Let's use Devin Booker for example. If you brought in Booker with Luka, I think you'd have a good matchup. Yes, that's true too. Somebody that can be a shooter / slasher. Kyrie Irving's a point guard, but so Luka's kind of has point guard skills and tendencies as well. So when you have two of the kind of similar guys that are the focal points of the offense, sometimes they need to play off each other. It's the same problem with Westbrook and Durant. The reason they didn't mesh well together is because they both were ball hogs and didn't understand how to, put their games and layer their games together. That's why Jordan and Pippen worked so well. Pippen could have arguably been better than Jordan in all respects. If you
Don't forget about Dennis.
Dennis. No, Dennis Rodman too. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, when you mesh their styles together, they didn't butt heads because they played within the game within each other, right? And so they knew what they were doing and it meshed well. I think this took a little while for them to mesh because you got to kind of find your niche, right? I think Kyrie Irving is starting to realize, this ain't my team. I'm the Robin to the Batman, which is Luka. Luka is team, right? That's and right. So let's see if they can get that chemistry. I don't know if they hang out on and off the court, but if I were them, like they do in WWE and you go sit down ringside, I would start to watch my opponent a little bit when I get my chances, just if I have an off day,
You know what I want to see? I want to see, like, Kyrie just become that. You said it perfectly. Like, I mentioned Mitchell, but you said Booker. And I love the reason why you said Booker because it is really he needs to become Thompson to Curry. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if he becomes that Thompson type of player, I can see Kyrie easily putting up
that's a good
massive points a game. And it's game changing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It'd be like, do you bring in 2 Steph Currys? That would be dumb. You need somebody that's going to complement his kind of game. And I think what happens with Luka is that he's an all-around player. He can do everything on the floor. But
he leads the team in rebounds. Like, what's going on?
He is what we call a succubus in terms of he takes a lot of possessions away. And if you're a guy that needs the ball and has possessions like Kyrie Irving, it tends to slow what Luka's doing down, right? So if you brought in a guy like a Booker, Luka can run up and down the floor, push it, like that pass that he had for the alley-oop the other night, where he threw a dime from like 90 feet away, was absolutely a thing of beauty. And that's what I'm saying by like how Kyrie Irving has to play. You've got to be able to just find your shot, take your shot. If you have the ball, Luka's going to do the same thing. He's going to move around to try. You got to start to counter each other's style. Otherwise, you're just going to be the same player and people are going to defend you the way they're going to defend you. I don't know if he needs to be more Batman. I disagree.
Because
I think Luka needs to be the guy that needs to be Batman.
Luka is the guy, honestly, because if you think about it, Mets, for me, that is that's the big 3, right? Giannis, Jokic, and Luka. And the only thing that separates Giannis and the Joker is championships. I think, honestly, for me, Luka's number 1 on that list. And the only reason why Luka's not number 1 is because both of them have championships. If Luka gets a championship, let's see how the debate changes. I mean, like, Luka is out here really, like, balling, and I can't say the same I can say the same for both of them, but if you really think about it, Giannis, been hurt every playoffs ever since he won the championship. And I can't talk bad about Jokic. That's why he's the number one player in the league right now.
But if you look
Because he has championships and he's putting in the work. Go right ahead, Adam.
Kyrie Irving needs to play like he played on the Cavaliers for them to win the championship.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, LeBron James was the main guy on that
Lucas
team,
injured,
but
Kyrie needs to step up. Okay, that's what he means, and he's backs on that.
Right, but Kyrie
Lucas
Irving needs to play. Kyrie Irving needs to play the ball he played in Cleveland when they won the championship, because without Kyrie Irving, no matter what LeBron did, that team wasn't going home with a championship. Because Kyrie Irving was dropping 40 points a game and playing out of his mind and not having to be the focal point again because everyone's focusing on LeBron. That's how you have to play. Luka has to be the guy that garners the attention. You have to be the guy that delivers when the ball comes to you. That's what you need to do. Be the second scorer, be able to deliver and not stifle the offense. And I think Kyrie Irving, wherever he's been, has needed to be the guy. But when you come to a team and you're not the guy, it's hard to take a back seat.
That's absolutely what happened in the first year at Miami, and that's why not to take anything away from Dirk. They whooped our fucking ass, but we couldn't pull it. You know what I'm saying? That being said, no Mets is right on that point. I mean, like, Luka is injured, and Kyrie really needs to step up and for the sake of the season, play a bigger role. But when Luka is more healthy, Adam is absolutely 100% facts on that. Kyrie steps back and be that Robin, what D Wade had to do the last year of not the last year, but when LeBron came to Miami. St. Todd, thank you so much.
And I think the OKC is a little vulnerable because they're young, right?
Oh,
and you haven't really been in this position. I mean, yes, maybe in college you've won some games, but I believe, if you look at it.
Do you think Shea not winning the MVP kind of fucked with his mind?
No. Well, to me, I think if you're in the conversation and you don't win it, it should put a chip on your shoulder. It should make you mad, right? Oh, I didn't win. I'm going to show you why I should be the league MVP. I like case in point. Okay, I was listening to Twitter, not Twitter. It was TikTok or Instagram, one of the two. It doesn't really matter. It was a social media platform, and Shaq is talking to Kobe. And they're talking about the championship in Miami that he won. And Kobe goes to Shaq. He's like, I needed you to win that championship. And he's like, you think I was going to win it? Shaq said in this big, deep voice. He's like, yeah, I needed you. I needed you to kind of win it. And Shaq's like, I needed to win it for myself. He's like, I needed to win and you to win it to validate that you won it so I can go out and have fire. He said, once you won that championship, I went to the gym and put up 1,000 shots. I started to do my training right then and there. I needed that extra motivation to do that. And I think, people don't understand what a Mamba mentality is, right? And what I'm getting at is that sometimes you need that extra motivation. And if you got snubbed on the MVP voting, then you should go out there and be like Brunson. I don't know if Brunson's the MVP, but he plays like an MVP sometimes in some games, and you're like, that's why you deserve to be the MVP. Because you take the game over sometimes and win. And that's what you need to do. And this kid needs to be, 31 points a game. 31 points a game is phenomenal, right? But you need to be, I'm better than Jokic. I should get it. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Brunson's playing.
Show up against Luka right now. Luka, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're playing against Luka. You need to show up right now. Not like he's not. But I agree with you, Adam. Continue.
And that's basically all I want to say about the OKC side of it. It's just kind of like, if you asked if it would fuck with his mind. If anything, if you're the competitor that I want you to be, you need to be the guy that takes over the game. Like Murray sometimes. When you watch Murray and he gets clutch and he's healthy for for Denver, excuse me, he's unstoppable. You can't stop him because he goes to the lane, he creates shots. All of a sudden, next thing you know, in the blink of an eye, you're down by 10. And that's what this guy needs to do. 31 points is nice, but if you're not winning, what is it? Just you're filling up the stat sheet.
That's absolutely facts. Alrighty, guys, as we move on to our final game of the night that we're going to be discussing, it was the Nuggets versus the Timberwolves. Timberwolves got up to an early start, leading 2-0.
And then here comes
the Nuggets. Yeah, it is, absolutely. Here comes the Nuggets fighting its way back. I have to give a massive shout out to Ant, though. Anthony definitely becoming an X factor in the series, right up there, emerging as a young stud in the NBA. Soon will be probably mentioned, but who knows what could happen. Don't wanna talk on that just yet. But that being said, Anthony Edwards is absolutely performing, absolutely having a great year. You know what I'm saying? Only 22 years old. Breakout season, I would say, was kind of last year, but had a majorly much spotlight on him probably this year, and it definitely helps when your team takes it into the playoffs as the third overall seed, and then going out there and tying the series up against the reigning defending champions in the Nuggets. Absolutely a storied
Man,
team in
the
itself.
Nuggets look like they
Um,
packed it in Game 6, huh? Oh my God.
Definitely. I don't know how, honestly, like I don't I said don't count out the Nuggets after they got up 2-0, but I don't see how the Nuggets pulled out a victory in Game 7. I actually am turning against the Nuggets here. Yes, I am. I'm right even at, man. This kid reminds me of a young LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? He said LeBron question mark. I don't know if that what she was mentioning, but I feel it. If that was she was, I absolutely feel it. This kid reminds me of a young LeBron James. And that being said, though, I know Mac.
They were
This is
comparing
his
him to
team that he
Jordan.
picked.
I know that's not going to fly well with some people, but
Well,
they're
well,
picking
well,
him
well,
next to
he's
Jordan.
nowhere close to LeBron James right now. I'm just saying he reminds me of a young LeBron James. But that being said, I love that. Don't compare him to Jordan.
Get out of
I
here.
love that. But I'm gonna let Mac talk first because obviously he hasn't talked in a while, and I know he's really focused on the Knicks series, but I do want to get his input on the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. So go right ahead, Mac. Take it away.
45-point beat down in Game 6, man, for the defending champs. I mean, I didn't see that coming, honestly. When this series got started off 0-2, and Minnesota went up
Greatest
0-2,
crybaby.
2-0, it looked a little suspect for a minute. I was wondering what was going on with Denver, but then when they came roaring back and took the next 3 games, I just thought for sure they would come out there with more energy than this in Game 6 and just go ahead and put the T Wolves out of their misery on their home court. So the fact that they took a 45-point beat down and now got to go have another Game 7. Granted, it's going to be in their building, but at the same time, it's just disappointing. I feel like just because I think they really had an opportunity to go ahead and just wrap this series up and get a couple extra days rest. But nonetheless, I do believe they will pull it out in Game 7. I believe that after getting embarrassed like that in Game 6, I think this team will come out the defending champions, led by their superstar, like you mentioned earlier, Joker. Absolutely one of the best players in this league right now, currently by far. It's not even up for debate. I think he'll lead. I think he'll lead the way, and I think that this team will pull out Game 7 victory. But at the end of the day, I think that that they should have really took care of their business and ended this series last night, and to just go out there and just get absolutely humiliated. And I mean, nothing. They couldn't buy a bucket. I mean, everything was going right for the T Wolves, dominating on the glass. I mean, 3 players with double-digit rebounds, including one off the bench. I mean, it's just unbelievable what the T Wolves were able to do last night to the Denver Nuggets. So I look forward to Game 7 because I love Game 7s, and I definitely will be tuned in for this one on I believe what Sunday is that Sunday night, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'll
should be
definitely be
tomorrow, I
tuned in
believe,
for
huh?
Game 7, man. Is it tomorrow? Oh, maybe tomorrow.
And
Oh
my
yeah, that's
bad.
tomorrow. I guess it
My
is
bad. It
tomorrow.
says Sunday right here on my bad. My bad. Yeah, it's Sunday.
Well, all right, whatever fucking day it is,
Whatever
Sunday.
day it
It's
is.
confirmed that it's Sunday. I'll
Yeah.
be tuned in for it because it should be a great Game 7.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. And sorry for that confusion, people. If you guys obviously have the access to the internet, it is Sunday. If you guys was watching that, I didn't have to correct that. Obviously, you guys could have Googled it. But yes, guys, the game is on Sunday. Sorry for that confusion. Not to take away from that amazing take by Mac. Absolutely well put. Back over to you, Adam. Adam, you're muted. Adam is currently AFK. I'm gonna take it until he comes back.
Sorry.
Oh, he's right here. Go right ahead, Adam.
I thought I was talking, but I guess not. Technology these days. What I was saying is, Game 6, you kind of figured that this would happen. Like Denver doesn't necessarily need to win on your home floor, on their floor. So, like, I understand Max saying the beatdown was happening, but they have home court. This is what you play home court for, right? You have Game 7. They know they have that in their back pocket. That if they did not, and I don't like to say this about teams, but it is a mentality sometimes. If you start to get dominated and start to do the class, okay, don't worry about it. We have another game to play, right? I think you're going to see a better game from the Denver Nuggets, a game where they're actually going to turn it on and show you why they're defending champions. And not to take anything away from Minnesota, they're not intimidated at all by playing in Denver, obviously, because they won the first 2 games there. But what I'm saying is, I think Denver will have a chance to do what everybody wants to do in Game 7, and that's have your home. You're at your house. You're with your home cooked meals. You're with your wife, your girlfriend, your side piece, your kids, whatever it is that you're doing. You know, you're there, and it changes people sometimes. So. I think they'll have a good chance at really, not getting back in the series, but taking the series over, so to speak, and punching the ticket. I mean, if Minnesota does it, they'll have earned it, and Anthony Brown will be. I mean, I'm sure this guy is going to be on he's already on the Sprite commercial. He already emulated one of the greatest Anthony Edwards, excuse me. He already emulated one of the greatest Sprite commercials ever by Grant Hill. I don't know if you guys you're probably too young, some of you, to know about Grant Hill, but Grant Hill was one of the up-and-comers when I was a kid, and he made a Sprite commercial. Grant Hill drinks Sprite, and it's a kid at the playground watching Grant Hill dunk and play basketball, throw up shots, and just, look crazy, right? And then he's drinking Sprite to cool off at the game, and the kid goes, Grant Hill drinks Sprite, Grant Hill drinks Sprite. And he goes up to dunk the ball, and he gets rejected by the rim and falls down, and they say, leave the game. They say, like, leave it to Grant Hill or whatever, and Grant Hill drinks Sprite. So the same commercial was done by Anthony Edwards. Some guy is in the gym watching Anthony Edwards warm up and shoot, and he's, cools down with some Sprite, and he does the same exact thing. And boom, gets rejected by the rim. And I'm like, oh, man, don't do Grant dirty like that. And who walks in to help out Anthony Edwards? Well, Grant Hill. So it was a great homage to one of the greats. And I think, Anthony Edwards, maybe we should be talking about Grant Hill. Maybe we should be talking about him being the next Grant Hill. Because people don't know, Grant Hill was like the guy before his ankle injuries came. Right, you had Kobe Bryant, but Grant Hill was going to be like another Scottie Pippen. He was that good. Okay,
Grant Hill was on the verge of being in the GOAT conversation. It wasn't for the injuries. He was literally on that level. He was playing. He played at that level before the injuries kicked in.
Oh my God, he was
been
fantastic.
in GOAT conversations.
Like, he was making shoes from Fila's and all that stuff. He made Fila a brand. If it wasn't for Grant Hill, Fila probably doesn't even exist, And he was going to be in the GOAT conversation. And the thing is, when he went to Miami, oh my God, I'm not Miami. When he went to Orlando, oh my Lord. I thought him and McGrady, I thought it was going to be Championship Central.
Well said. That was the Wikipedia for Grant Hill, guys. But yeah, so that wraps it up for
Grant Hill will be. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but he was like one of those guys where you wish, it's almost like Carson Palmer of the NFL, right? You wish he didn't get injured, because if he didn't, he probably has a better career than you remember him by. Carson Palmer was a good player. When he was coming in and he was cooking, he was on the verge of being one of the top quarterbacks in the game when he was coming in. He was going to rise up to be the Peyton Manning. Then he blew out his knee, and then went to a couple other teams and never was quite the same player that he was. And the same thing with Grant Hill. You're like watching this kid just dominate, like, all over the place. He came in, I think, the same year as Jason Kidd, and he was just like, he was just a phenomenal basketball player. So it was sad to see him not make that potential. He was one of my favorites growing up, and I was sad to see him go, because there was like 3 years of basketball where he literally like played like no games.
Alrighty, guys, as we
Second
transition
half
to
underway. Second half underway in Indianapolis. The Knicks come out running, man, and cut into the Patriots lead.
well said.
Yo, show the score again. I forgot what the fucking score was. I forgot what the score was. Show the score back up on the screen, goddamn.
Oh, it is
we are you
61
aren't
right
keeping
now,
count on
Pacers.
notepads. Come on, man.
61 Pacers, 56 Knicks. That being said, guys, we are going to move along. Thank you so much, Mac, for the update. He will stay tuned with the updates as the game goes on, and No Mets got you covered for the chat as well. That being said, the schedules
Appreciate you, Mets.
did release.
Glad somebody's paying attention out there.
Absolutely. The schedule did release for this season. That being said, the teams, I believe, just give you guys a backstory. For those who know, for those who don't know, this is the time for you. That being said, though, a couple of years ago, the Chargers media team did this amazing video with their schedule release, and it basically got the whole NFL network captivated. Fans loved it on social media. Fans are sharing it on social media, and they basically went viral for it. And from that moment since, there has been crowned as like the social media team when it comes to schedule release videos and when it comes to, just keeping updates with the players. I beg to differ. I think the New York Giants, call me biased, media team is pretty fun. They do a lot of activities with the players, and we get to see them as humans rather than as football players, as pieces on the field. But that being said, regardless of that, nowadays, a couple of years later, on the schedule day, when the schedule's released, every social media team now tries to compete for a schedule release video that goes viral. So we've seen a lot of different videos through the past couple of years. But this year, I do want to ask the chat, being that Mac and Adam wasn't really too either they didn't really care, because obviously who cares about a whole video? We just want to see who we play. But they didn't really know about it. So I did ask the boys to bring theirs, but I am gonna ask the chat. I'm gonna ask the chat if you can just name them. What is some of your guys' favorites? If you guys did watch some of the schedule release videos, if you guys are into that kind of stuff, all I know is I don't even need to click on team. As soon as the schedule releases, YouTube is just recommending me videos. I don't know. Maybe I just watched the NFL too much.
I think you're getting too hyped for a frigging schedule video. We're talking about a schedule. It's not like you're previewing a game or something. Like, hey guys, the schedule's coming out. Yeah, give me a break. Give me a damn break.
Well, Adam, it has been a major, I would say, a topic. They have like a whole show on it now on the NFL channel about these schedule release videos.
Mac,
so.
are you a schedule release guy? Are you a schedule release video guy? Were you waiting all day
till earlier today in the text? Zion mentioned it in the text. I didn't even know what that
didn't
was.
even know it existed.
Mac was he knew about these videos so much, he was waiting with anticipation for his phone to chime to get the video update. Give me a break. The video schedule release video, that's what we're looking forward to today. Man, the NFL fan base must be on crack, because that's the little shot of adrenaline that you need,
man.
I'm just saying, like this schedule. They do a 2-hour show. Listen, they do a 2-hour show on NFL Network, or a 3-hour show going through every game and every team's schedule and previewing for God knows how long. We need a schedule release. Like I didn't even know they make those, and I'm a guy who likes the content. I am not watching the schedule release video.
No. You gotta check them out, Adam, because you know why? It's a fun. They like all these teams. They like, obviously I showed you guys a couple before the video started. Well, these teams kind of like take shots at other teams. So here's a few I'm gonna recommend if you guys haven't watched them yet, for the chat, for the co-host Adam and Mac, and also for the Twitter fan. I do believe that the Rams had a lovely video. I really enjoyed that one. I do believe that the Falcons, the Rams did a whole like low rider, scrolling through different cities, but also dissing different cities.
It's a cartoon car driving through different cities. It is a low rider. Like, what are we doing here?
That being said, we did have
what are we doing here?
The Falcons released one, but like the whole 2K kind of vibe at the streets kind of dissing on different teams. I thought that was kind of fun. We did get the Jacksonville Jaguars released kind of like an X-Men 95, kind of like a theme.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, that was pretty fun. And then also we had the Cowboys, not to shout out the Ops, but they kind of just like called
Plenty
people
of time
just like
left, Miz. Plenty of time left.
kind of like kind of like just
Don't worry, plenty of time for you to watch the schedule release videos of all 32 teams. You know, because if that doesn't get you excited,
Right,
I don't know what it is.
you know, it's the offseason, Adam. We have to give these guys
Look.
these
Real
NFL
quick,
fans
'cause
content.
we didn't touch on
Continue,
this
Matt.
on Wednesday. Me and Adam, we didn't touch on this Wednesday. Me and Adam, I was just curious how you guys feel. How you guys feel about the Hard Knocks off-season Hard Knocks for the New York Giants.
I was going to get into that, and let's transition to that. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love it, and I'm going to give my reasons why. You know, I love watching content on my team on YouTube, and then now when it is broadcasted on a network like HBO, I love movies. I'm a movie buff, okay? That being said, I love the cinematography of high-budget production. And when it comes to Hard Knocks, it's not only do I get psyched when I drop a new video on Giants YouTube or Giants.com, but now I get a whole series. I really wanted Daniel Jones, not that I support the kid, but to do quarterback on Netflix because I'm a movie buff. I love the cinematography. I love the high production value cameras and the content that they can create with those kind of budgets. When it comes to HBO, that's a business that makes some of the best shows when it comes to high budget production. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm absolutely love it, and I'm gonna watch it. What about you guys? I hate it, says no Mets.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
I'm
gonna watch it because it's the Giants. But at the end of the day, I feel like this team really needs to focus on the X's and O's, and I'm not sure
That's
if the
facts.
distraction is gonna
Well,
be good for a team like this
Shut up.
right now with all the issues they have. I don't know. This is
Right.
like the type of thing
Focus on
that
the front office,
obviously
not
the
the
Tom
players, we'll let
Coughlin and the Tom Coughlin era would have never been on fucking Hard Knocks. He ain't dealing with that shit. He wouldn't have had all that.
yeah, that's why they're in the
all
off
that
season.
service going on through his.
But ain't it the real
Locker room
Hard
training.
Knocks? Because the real Hard Knocks is in the off season.
No,
Only
the
recently.
the real hard knocks is taking place during training camp, where they go and they document the training camp battles. You know,
That's what it is. That's
started
what
with the
we
Ravens,
got.
I do believe. No,
No.
we're doing the off season. We're doing the build up to the draft and all that shit. It's basically a way. It's not to cut you off, Mac. It's basically a way for Mara to check the Hard Knocks box without.
So wait,
without
there's
having
3
to-
Hard Knocks now.
Yes, there's an off-season one.
that is
There's
bullshit.
probably going to be you're probably going to hear about in August Hard Knocks of like the Miami Dolphins or some shit.
So
Right.
wait, we don't get the original Hard Knocks, is what you're saying? That's lame.
No, we did Hard Knocks in season with Miami last year. They did Hard Knocks with the Jets over the summer. This is going to be just like, oh hey, we traded for Brian Burns.
I don't know.
Well, what the fuck, dude?
I have no idea.
That sucks.
I can't keep up with this.
Listen, guys. This is what's going to happen. They're going to show you Joe Shane on the phone talking to Brian Burns, saying, "Hey, man, we got you as a New York Giant, bro. Can't wait to have you in here."
Yeah.
You know, all that type of shit. Hey, man, you know, we're signing you to this. Maybe they'll show you the signing of a player walking in, signing his contract. There's not going to be
Well, I
anything
don't care, though.
exciting. Maybe
Because
you'll
that's
see,
all. I was all excited for that training camp shit, like the real Hard
and then
Knocks.
they're going to show you all the quarterbacks that they went to see and didn't draft. Like, why
Oh
do I
my
want
god,
to relive?
that is
Why do I want to
painful.
Why do I
Rub it
want
in
to
our
relive?
faces, why don't you?
Why do I want to relive the off season again when you failed the off season by doing the one thing we asked you to do? And you know, it's right. That's Mara gets to check the box saying, "I did Hard Knocks. Get off my ass." Right? I did it, and he gets to introduce this. Right? They're doing it for the look.
Yeah,
the Giants are doing all. The Giants picked the best
Jesus,
time
man.
to
That's
have
so
a bad.
stupid.
The Giants picked the best time to have a bad season because now they get to commemorate everything with the 100-year anniversary, was trying to mask what is really going on in the field, and that they've had a sucky product for the last decade of their 100 years. This last decade has been the worst, one of the worst in their history. And
Absolutely.
these uniforms coming out, the schedule coming out, the
into.
hard knocks coming out. This is all to distract you from what the real problem is, and that this team fucking sucks. And yes, while they deserve this, they deserve this, and what they're giving out to season ticket holders is fine with a commemorative box and stuff. They're not going to get into detail with anything, right? They're going to edit it a lot. They're going to have everything seen by Mara's eyes. It's going to be one of those pieces where it's not going to make the Giants look good, but you'll get to see a little bit into the front office. I don't think it's going to be crazy. It might be
want
good.
To see office rugby. We want to see players compete for jobs.
But like the Hard Knocks, the whole point of the reality show is you get caught up by the player, some player from some dumb college.
Some guy we root for because he never had a chance, and now he's about to make the roster.
Right. Or the injuries that happen, how they overcome.
Absolutely.
Like in season was cool to see Tua and his personality, and you're like, oh, he's not such a stiff that everyone thinks he is. He's getting presents for his linemen. And they're going over games and game footages and things like that. And it's like that's more interesting. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm an off-season guy. I love the process to build up all that crap. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the boring stuff.
Much love to you too. Man.
So, anyways, we can keep moving. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. As we move on to our next topic, thank you so much. I was muted. I do want to say shout out to the fam though in the comments right now. We have Miz in the building. We have No Mets in the building. We had Daniel in the building.
58 people.
Love it, baby. 57, 58 people watching. Let's get it. Thank you guys so much. For the fam, we see you guys too. That being said, the boys did break down this schedule on Wednesday's episode of the NFC East Roundup. But I'm going to ask them, and then I'm going to either agree or disagree. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So week 1, we're going against the Minnesota Vikings. I want to hear from you guys. Did you guys have the Vikings winning or losing this game?
Oh, well, here we go. Matt, let me put it to you this way. I'll do it with the first 2 games because I think the real part of the real hard schedule is the week 3. But I have them splitting between the Vikings and Washington. Doesn't matter who they win to. I think they're 1-1 at the worst coming out of going into week 3 because I think the Vikings are not afraid of us. And going into Washington in their home opener, it's going to be a tough place to play. I can easily see them losing that game as well. What they don't want to be is 0-2. If they go 0-2, they're fucking done.
Gotcha. All righty. What did Max say about week 1 against the Vikings? You have us winning or you have us losing?
He has us losing.
I had the Giants taking the L.
All righty. So this is how I'm going to put it. I have the Giants actually winning week 1 against the Vikings. Reason being, it should be JJ's first game under uniform, under center. And he's still going to have to work out chemistry. I understand that you have Addison. I understand that you have JJ, best receiver in the game. But at the end of the day, that defense is pretty new. Still got to gel as well. So does ours. I'm going to give our team the edge, though. Not trying to take anything away from the Vikings.
Funny, they like us.
It might actually be Sam under center. So that being said, I'm going to take us going out. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. It's not going to be any runaway victory, but I'm going to have us winning against the Vikings. So being that, Adam, did you have us going 1-1 after week 3?
Yes, it doesn't matter which win. I think I picked them to lose this game and win against Washington.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna have us going for the sake of the premium takes, fam. I'm gonna have us starting the season 1-0. Moving to Washington. Mac, what did you have us winning or losing at Washington?
Yeah, it's 0-2.
Losing.
You had us losing at Washington. Alrighty. Mac, did you have us losing at Washington too?
Me? No. I had us beating Washington. I had
us beating Washington.
Losing to Minnesota and then beating Washington. Or, I could easily see it reverse. They win because it's a 100-year thing and then they lose to Washington. It's a toss-up. But I'm going to, for this, I think I said, didn't I say on Wednesday Washington win, right, Mac? If I'm not mistaken. I think I said they would beat Washington here. Or maybe I was wrong.
Not giving up. I think you actually had them beating Minnesota and losing to Washington.
Right, there we go. There we go.
All
So
right.
we'll do it like that. And the reason why I said that was because I think it's a hostile environment, and I think
Okay.
people don't underestimate the power of being a home opener, right? And
Yes.
they don't really know much about Jaden Daniels, and he's a guy that can hurt you with your legs. And people think you have to be crazy to win. Like, no, Daniel Jones won throwing less than 200 yards a game. Okay, that guy was in his 5th year. You don't think they can do that with Jaden Daniels, who's probably a more talented player? Please.
Lovely. For the sake of the premium takes episode, I'm gonna have to just play my trump card, and I'm gonna have us starting off the season 2-0 because I have us going on a long losing streak. And I honestly agree with Miz in the chat. I see us winning against Washington, starting off the season really strong, 2-0. Everybody's high and dandy, and then we go into this gauntlet of losses. Not to disrespect, guys, but I'm gonna have us starting the season with 2 wins. If you guys can accept that, I would really appreciate it. Can we move on to week 3?
Yeah, we accept it. I mean, that's what the
Absolutely.
NFL wants us to do too. I'm just
Thank you,
saying,
guys. Thank you.
don't sleep on Minnesota.
I have us losing now. I'm gonna be honest
All
with you guys. I have us going on a 6-game losing streak. Yes, I said that.
Someone's getting fired.
I have us going on a 6-game losing streak, and I'm gonna explain it right here, and I'll let the good boys explain it. The Browns defense is just too strong for our team right now, and if Myles Garrett is healthy, he's absolutely gonna fuck up Evan Neal. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen. And if Daniel Jones is the quarterback, he's gonna be a deer in headlights, and it's gonna be a bad out for them. No matter what our defense is probably gonna be yelling out our offense at halftime. That being said, moving on to the Cowboys. It's just going to be the same thing. We're just not ready for that level of competition, all right? Moving on to the Seahawks, this is going to be a struggle. It's going to be a back and forth. And then I can see the Seahawks clearly pulling ahead and winning the game. But I don't want to get too far ahead. I want to rewind the time. It's not Zion's schedule. This is Premium Take's schedule. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the Browns, the Cowboys, and then to the Seahawks. Go right ahead, Matt. I like us at Dallas.
I got us losing to the Browns. Absolutely.
Losing to the Browns?
I was losing to the Browns. I think the defense will just smother our offense, and I just don't see it us winning that football game. Dallas, Thursday night, short week, coming off of a tough game against Cleveland. No fucking way. I can't give us that game either. I hear you. I see you. I think we're due to beat Dallas 2 Miz. But I like our chances better on Thanksgiving down in Texas Stadium than I do on a short week in week 4. As far as Seattle, this is where I got the Giants winning there. This is where I personally had the Giants winning their first game of this season. I feel like that's the kind of shit the New York Giants do, or go out there to the Pacific Northwest, and somehow pull something out their ass and boom, knock the Seattle off with the 12th man, yelling and screaming in their fucking ear. That's just what the New York Giants do year in and year out. They pull off games like that. They win a couple of games like that, and I think this is one of them on that schedule this season. They'll go out there and get a big win in Seattle. That's just how I feel about it. But I feel like I said, this is where I see them getting their first W of the season. But
lovely. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give the mic over to Adam, and for the sake of the exercise, Premium Takes edition. Don't worry, Adam. You're gonna go first. The next question. I'm gonna pass the mic over to you. The Giants are 2-2. It's up to you. Does the Giants win at Seattle, or does the Giants lose at Seattle?
I had them losing at Seattle. I think that's where Mac and I differed. There was one game that we were off, and I think this is the game where I said that we were off. Because I just don't think they play well in Seattle. They haven't played well in Seattle. And their defense is going to be – we talk about our defense being good and everything like that. Their defense is good. What I want to say is we're going to get railroaded by Cleveland. Their defense is championship caliber.
Yes.
So, Dallas, I think you guys are underestimating the power of Dak Prescott. He's like 8-0 against us since 2016. I don't think that changes here. We don't have a great team on paper the same way we look at it. And I don't think our defense is going to be as opportunistic as it was last year. I think it's going to be a bend but don't break type of defense, which is going to allow teams to make up yardage. And I also think that it comes down to our run game as well. In the late fourth quarter, will we be able to stop teams running the football? We were 29th last year, and we lost Leonard Williams. Not our guys are great. So what did these teams do well? Well, the Browns run the football well. The Cowboys brought back Zeke. They run the football well. Seattle, they're going to try to run the football down our throats with Kenneth Walker. So I think I have them losing this game as well.
Well said, well said. So for the premium six exercises, we are 2-3 going into week 6. Alrighty, I'm gonna give my next 3. Obviously, you guys know it's losses. Like I say, we go on a 6-game losing streak. But then also Adam's gonna say his point, and then Mac will be the deciding factor at the end. So let's go to Bengals. I obviously think there's 4 teams obviously in the AFC that is ready to compete there's more than 4, I believe, but this is my order of the AFC teams, and the AFC is the better conference. So some of these teams is clearly above every single NFC team. I have it as the Chiefs as my number 1 seed. I have it as the Bengals as my number 2, and have a third-rate tie between the Ravens and the Chargers. Being that I have the Bengals as my second best team in the AFC this next upcoming season, I think Joe Burrow is going to just take a different step in his game. He was injured most of last season, coming off of that injury, and I think this season is just gonna blow records off the field. I think he's ready to go. I think Chase is ready to go. They're ready to remind everybody that they're here to stay for a long time, and I'm gonna have us absolutely getting annihilated against the Bengals. But I am gonna say that Malik Neighbors will probably have an amazing game, but it's not going to do anything for the scoreboard. It's probably going to be really effective in DraftKings and for fantasy leagues. In most of these games, Malik Neighbors is going to be a fantasy god, but for the sake of wins and losses, I have us losing against the Bengals. The Eagles, obviously, their team on paper is fucking scary. No matter what anybody says, they improved. And how do you improve? You have a wizard that is basically just a salary cap god in the GM Howie Roseman, and they just manipulate the cap and take advantage of the cap, and the NFL just feeds them players in the draft, and it's just a wrap. So I don't know how we win against the Eagles, but I would love to see what you guys have to say. And the Steelers is my dark horse, honestly. They have a really, really great defense on paper that a lot of people is just overlooking. And I don't understand why they're overlooking the defense. And they have 2 quarterbacks that I don't care who is playing. They both can function with that offense and that playmakers that they have on that offense. And I think the Steelers as a whole, their defense is, I believe, going to be one of the top defenses in the conference. And not only that, in the league coming up this upcoming season, if everybody stays healthy and they produce. So that's why I have us losing against the Bengals, the Eagles, and the Steelers. I'm going to let Adam take it over, and then we'll have Matt be the deciding factor.
I just wanted to mention one thing. I think Miz here says he disagrees about the defense. Just because the defensive line does damage doesn't mean you're going to have a good defense. That doesn't mean anything. Just because guys get sacks doesn't necessarily translate to quote-unquote wins, right? Because what we need here is, if you think about it, Brian Burns had 8 sacks last year. Kayvon Thibodeau had 11. Between the 2 of them, that's 17 sacks combined. That's 1 sack a game between the 2 of them. So my point is, the defense is going to be a solid unit, I think, because of the talent they have. If anyone gets injured, they're kind of screwed. But the talent that they have a young secondary, and they're going to be playing a guy who doesn't believe necessarily in playing man coverage the same way that Wink Martindale did. So what that means, you can play a lot more zone, so you can let the front 4 get there. And what that allows you to do is to move the football up and down. There's going to be holes up and down the field. So, I don't think I get you guys are overestimating the defense. The defense was ranked 32nd in the league. They were terrible last year. They turned the ball over well last year, and they kept us in games because they had a decent red zone efficiency. What Shane Bowen's defense was last year, it was 17th last year. They had a good front 4 in Autry, Landry, Jeffrey Simmons, and I forget who the other guy was on the other side. Is decent front 4, decent linebackers. They were bend but don't break. They weren't great in turnovers in the turnover game. They weren't great against the run last year. They weren't overly great against the pass. They were middle of the road. They're like 17. I can get the actual numbers up for you. I think I actually might have them. Did I drop them? I might have dropped them off, but Oh, here they are. It's Fox numbers. So defensive stats. No, that's not the NFL stats. The point is, the best thing that they did last year, the Tennessee Titans, was red zone efficiency. So they let you get to the red zone. They let you move up and down the field, but then they didn't let you score. So I think that's where people they see the strong D last year, and I'm just wanted to point that out real quick. As for the games, Bengals, I think we're going to lose. Joe Burrow is good. The Eagles, that's I do believe that game is at home. That's going to be a Saquon Barkley reunion. He's going to want to come back and not for nothing. When you have a guy like that, he knows tidbits about the offensive personnel. You don't think he's going to leak some of that to the defense to kind of get a jump on Daniel Jones. And I think I have the Giants beating Pittsburgh. I think that's what I said in the game on Monday Night Football. I think that will be the game you think that they'll win. This will be the game that they upset the teams that we don't think they win. They win a game on prime time, which is kind of crazy to think because DJ sucks on prime time, and that's where I'm
It's
at.
a prime time game, but no.
So the Giants are, for me, at least 2 wins on the board, and I'm going to try to stay consistent. Again, that was a couple days ago. My brain's a little fried, so you may have to excuse me if I don't know.
Gucci Adam, and that's why we're doing this exercise. So right now, we for the sake of the exercise, turning the mic over to Mac. We are now entering week 8, and please, you can explain if you have us Bengals, if you have the Eagles. I want you to explain that, Mac. But right now, I have us 2-5 going into the Steelers, and it's up to you if the Steelers win or if the Steelers lost. You're the X factor in this exercise. But please also explain your points against the Bengals and the Eagles. If you have us winning, I would love to hear it.
I don't have us winning either one of those games, and I don't have us winning against the Steelers either. I think Monday night in Pittsburgh, T.J. Watt. That's it.
Man of very few words. Alrighty, so the Giants are 2-6 going into week 9. Alrighty, we're going one game at a time. I have us beating Washington. I have us sweeping Washington. Young quarterback. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be do numbers. Going to be great in this league in the future. But right now, it's gonna be a learning lesson. He might put up more touchdowns than Daniel Jones, but it's still gonna be a learning lesson. And I think Washington is gonna be aggressive, but gonna struggle this upcoming season. And I think Giants defense, getting their ass whooped, and the Giants offense getting their ass whooped for 6 games in a row. I think they're finally fucking gonna come back and win the game against Washington, and feeling good, flying overseas to give Germany a shittiest game of all time. I feel sorry for the Germans, but we'll get into that later. I'm gonna pass it over to Mac, and then pass it back to Adam. You got us winning or losing at Washington. We are now 2-6 for the sake of premium takes exercise.
Got the New York Giants winning against the Washington Commanders at home in this one, splitting the season series with the Commanders. I just feel like at the end of the day, New York Giants do tend to play well against this football team, and even though I gave them the nod in week 2, I think that the New York Giants will split the season series and get the W at home up at MetLife against the Washington Commanders.
Both said. Adam, what is your thoughts on Washington Commanders? Think you're muted. Yeah, maybe he's AFK right now, but we'll get back to him. So for the sake of exercise, we're gonna be 3-6, 3-6 going into week 10. And I think this is a game we can easily win in Germany. I don't know why they gave the Germans this game. It is pretty sad, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they get to see Bryce Young, they get to see Malik Neighbors, they get to see Brian Burns, get to see a lot of other studs on Panthers and the Giants roster. With that being said, Sexy Dexy. With that being said, at Mac, you have us winning or losing against the Panthers?
I'm getting the W over in Germany against the Carolina Panthers. I said this on Wednesday. Carolina is one of the few teams that I can feel legitimately and say that I think the New York Giants are better than. I think this is one of I can't even think right now off the top of my head of another team that I would just really feel that confident saying the New York Giants are better than on paper. But I feel like on paper, this is a team that we are better, and this is maybe even possibly, depending on how the season goes for the Washington or something like that, probably could be potentially the first time we're even favored in the game all season. To be
That
quite
is
frank.
facts, though. That is facts. So, like I said, guys, this is a different exercise. Because of the fact that we all have to agree and then pick the ultimatum. But so that being said, Mac, and Adam released theirs on the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. So you guys want to make sure you check that out every Wednesday. But for the sake of the premium takes schedule release, we are going to be 4-6 going into our bye. Obviously, we got a bye, and then we come back against Tampa Bay. Um, I'm up in the air on this one. This one is really a pick 'em for me. I really can't choose. I think Tampa's offense is scary, but some of their defense does has question marks that I believe that our defense will kind of have that momentum against that win against Washington, against that win against Germany, coming back rested after a bye, might have that edge, but anything can happen. So I am actually gonna leave it over to Mac to make that deciding factor. And Adam, when you come back, please just let us know. But for the sake of this, we are now 4-6 going into week 12. Mac, do we win or do we lose at Tampa?
I had Tampa Bay edging this out here in a close game.
I'm sorry,
I just
at home.
yeah, yeah, I got Tampa Bay just
Tampa?
edging the Giants out here, man, and getting the W.
Perfect. So now we are 4-6. Was that right? 4-6 going into week 13. We're gonna pass the mic over to Adam. For the sake of premium takes, Adam, we are now 4-6 going into week oh no, sorry, we're 4-7. I apologize. We are 4-7 going into week 13
against
against the
Cowboys.
Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I
Yeah.
want to hear your takes and then pass it over to Matt.
We're losing that game.
All right.
I don't think we're winning. I think you guys underestimate how good our offense is. We have 3 young receivers on the field. We have no tight ends that anybody really cares about. Our running back, while I like him, is really a complimentary back. So you're really relying on a lot of guys that you're hoping to have exponential seasons to really do well. I think the Cowboys are in a different stratosphere than us. They've always done well on Turkey Day, and again, I don't see them. I look at these teams. I told Mac on Wednesday. These teams look at us as a blip on the radar. They just want to check the box and keep it moving because they got bigger and better things to get to. So I think they're gonna annihilate us. So we'll be 4-8 headed down the stretch.
Alrighty, so Adam has us for an 8. Mac, it comes over to you, and then for this one, I'll be the X factor. Mac, do you have us winning or do you have us losing?
Actually, this is where I had this actually getting the W. Where I'm totally opposite of Adam on this one. I feel like this is that one Thanksgiving Day, New Year Giants going there to play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving just a couple seasons ago. We all remember how that went down. I think that
Wasn't
this
as close
team
as we think.
finds a way. This team finds a way to get it done. They were competitive, Adam. They were competitive.
That's all we're gonna be in this game. Competitive.
I love it.
And I
So,
think they find a way to
whatever.
get it done, man. On this one for Thanksgiving, man, for Turkey Day, and let me enjoy my Thanksgiving for a change.
Yeah, you're gonna be choking down your turkey and choking on. Gonna have acid reflux after this game because it's gonna sit
Will
there.
the
And be,
Giants win on Thanksgiving? Is the question we
Why do
have
they gotta
here.
ruin my Thanksgiving? Like Thanksgiving's
And
a holiday I love to eat and just be around, but now I gotta be stressed out. I gotta stress eat now. The turkey never goes down as smooth when I have to stress eat.
this is a pick 'em for me, and I apologize. I apologize, Adam. I just feel something with this one, with this game right here, and I don't know if Daniel Jones is even going to be the quarterback in this point.
You better
But
hope not.
I think you're absolutely right, Adam. I think the Cowboys are going to overlook us. They're going to try to check that box, and the Giants are going to play massive, knowing that they're in front of the nation, coming off that loss at home, that embarrassing loss, maybe a fourth quarter loss against Tampa, maybe a field goal loss against Tampa. Is going to go out there and going to compete at Thanksgiving. So we are now 5-7 going into week 14, and I'm gonna start it off. And I'm gonna say this, regardless what anybody thinks about the Saints, I do believe that we're gonna be rainbows and sunshines coming off of that win against a division opponent, and the Saints is gonna come out here and stomp us. I'm sorry, Giants fans. That's just how I think. I want to hear Adam's point, and then Mac will be the X factor. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well, this is a game where I thought we were going to win. I think
it.
in the game because New Orleans doesn't play well away from the dome. So I had them losing to Tampa, losing to the Cowboys. Right now, I have them what I think they're 3 wins because I had them, or 2 wins. This is where they get their third win here. I also think they beat. No, yeah. So they would have beaten Pittsburgh. They would have beaten Washington. They would have beaten the Panthers. Lost to the Buccaneers, lose to the Cowboys. They get their 4th win against the New Orleans Saints here, or 5th win against the New Orleans Saints here for me, just because the Saints play worse on the road than they do at home, even though I think their defense is pretty strong. And I think they have a solid team that they're going to be vastly improved with another year of Derek Carr. And they went 9 wins last year. And remember, this is one of those teams that's going to be fighting for a wild card spot. And I think this will be the game the Giants steal. And that's what I have.
Well said, well said. Alrighty, guys. So it comes down to Mac for the X factor for the premium take schedule release. Do you have us winning or do you have us losing against the Saints?
New Orleans Saints, MetLife Stadium, December. Not a chance, man. I got the New York Giants. Definitely taking it to the New Orleans Saints here. Usually, in this scenario, it's the opposite effect with these two teams. As a matter of fact, I mean they don't play each other every year, but when they play Giants down in that dome, it's usually not a good look. New Orleans Saints up in MetLife or the Meadowlands, whatever. It's just not a good look for the Saints, man. New York Giants, I think, take this one.
Well said, well said. So we have the Giants winning that game. Alrighty, history does not lie. Alrighty, just for a recap before we get into week 15, for the sake of the NFL schedule release and for premium takes as a group, as a unit, we have us winning at Washington. I'm sorry, winning at Vikings, winning at Washington, losing 6 straight, winning at Washington again, winning at in Germany against the Carolina. That puts us at 4-6. Losing against Tampa, that puts us at 4-7. Winning on Thanksgiving, that puts us at 5-7, and then winning against the Saints, that puts us at 6-7. And then I'm gonna have Adam. You can be X Factor here, so I'll store it and then put it over to Mac. Like I said, I don't even need to mention this. They are tied with the Los Angeles Chargers. I have us taking an ass whipping against the Ravens. Go right ahead, Mac.
Yeah, I don't even expect this game to be competitive at all. I mean, Baltimore's going to run the ball right down our throat.
Alrighty, that will put us at 6-8 if Adam agrees. Adam?
Yeah, Lamar remembers what happened last time. He's going to want to enact some revenge. They're losing.
Alrighty, so we are 6-8 going against Atlanta. I don't want to be X Factor. I want to go first again. I was losing against Atlanta. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be trying to be competitive at the Saints and whoever else in that division. I honestly think it is going to be the Saints. I'm kind of forgetting who the other team is outside of the Panthers, but Tampa Bay. Sorry, yeah. So I think it might be Tampa and the Saints and the Falcons competing for first place, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to go out there and trying to get a win. So we are now 6-9 if both of the boys agree. But let's see what they have to say. Go right ahead, Adam. Loss. Mac, what do you say?
Yeah, I got it for the loss too, man. Too much
Alrighty, we are
firepower
now
on that Atlanta team.
6-9. If I have my numbers, am I correct?
6 and
on
10.
That?
You're
6 and 10. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're right. 6-9 because you have 2 more games to go.
Yeah, 6-9. Okay. That being said, guys, I'm gonna have us split in the final 2 games. I don't care where it goes. But that being said, I have us finishing a 7-10. I'm gonna pass it over to Mac and then have Adam clear it out. Adam, Mac, what's your thoughts on that?
I did have a split in the last 2. I had us beating the Colts and losing to the Eagles.
Alrighty, so that puts us at 7-10. Adam is our X factor in this. Do you agree? Do you want to change it? What do you want to do?
They're losing both games to end up 6-11.
6-11.
Valiant effort by the team, but the Colts are going to be fighting for a playoff spot, and the Eagles will be fighting for the number 1 seed. That's what I believe. So I think I do believe you guys are underestimating how good the Giant defense is going to be. While it's going to be solid, their offense doesn't scare anybody, and I think we haven't done much to improve the offense greatly. And I think these teams have good defenses. Anthony Richardson's going to show you why he was number 4 overall pick, and the Eagles are going to show you why they want home field throughout. So
Luke, I love that. I love that point, Adam, and I did want to get your thoughts on it, but I honestly think too that the Eagles might be resting. So that being said, we might beat the Colts. We might lose against the Colts. We might beat the Eagles. But being that me and Mac both agree, we are gonna finish premium takes, not Adams, not Max, not Zion's, but premium takes. We have us finishing 7-10. I know Adam was the last X factor on that, but since me and Mac both agreed that we split, we have to go with the split. That has us Giants finishing 7-10, right outside of the playoffs. Hopefully, putting us in position to try to trade up to maybe get a Quinn Edwards, maybe get a Sanders.
Brian Daboll's
We're
fired.
Gonna see how Beck is looking. We got Monroe out of Alabama.
Here's what I don't want to happen.
Jillian Gabriel out of Oregon. Go right ahead of him.
The last thing I will say is if the Giants are going to the Eagles game and they're playing for a draft position and it's for like the number 4 or 5 seed, I don't want to hear about beating the Eagles. I want to hear about getting the number 4 fucking pick, doing what you need to do to secure your fucking quarterback. I don't want to say, "Oh, let's win this game." We win for the giver of speech.
With the horde of the season.
Saying.
You know that's going to happen. It happens every year. We can never just flunk. We have to just compete.
My point is they need to move on from that shit, because the point is I need to see evaluation. If you're not going to the playoffs and the game means nothing, it means 6-10 or 6-11. You end up 5 or 6. I want to see the young players play. I want to see if Nathan Rourke's on the team, give him a start. If Tommy DeVito's on the team, give him a start. If these young guys are on the team, get them some game experience against a team that's good and not worry about fucking, winning the football game. We all know what the end result's going to be. Brian Daboll, your ass going to be fired whether you're fucking 6-11, 7-10, or 5-12. If you don't make it to the NFC Championship game, good night, the lights to you. Okay, you're just not going to make it. I would fire you. I don't want to hear 8-9. We're going to run it back. No, 7-10 or worse, you're getting fired.
I honestly think if we finish 7-10, they're running it back with Brian Daboll, and he's getting his quarterback. I think that's what's gonna happen, because of the fact that, honestly, I see your point. I'm not gonna knock your point, because you guys are telling us this whole offseason and bringing in Brian Daboll and bringing in Malik Neighbors and bringing in all these studs that you guys want to compete out there with your quarterback in Daniel Jones, that you guys believe in Daniel Jones, and Adam is right. If you guys believe in Daniel Jones, he should be taking you in his 6th year to at least a championship game. I don't want to hear otherwise. I see Adam's point in that. But you guys may be listening and may be confused by that. The point is, me and Adam and Mac don't think that is going to happen. That should be the expectations of this team, but we all don't think that's going to happen for reasons of the quarterback position. But I do believe the only way, in my personal opinion, that Brian Daboll loses his job is 3 wins or less. I honestly believe that Maiwa is kind of lenient on the leash. He doesn't want to repeat the process of the search. I think he exhausted himself of the search. And I think he really invested himself into making them a whole fucking draft room. He's really invested into Joe Shane, and he's invested into Brian Daboll. And I think if we finish with 6 to 7 to 8 wins, I think he's going to lay them down and be like, and if Daniel Jones is the problem, he's going to lay it down and he's going to basically be like, get the problem. And that's what we hope for, right? But I'm done talking. Adam, you can finish up and then pass it over to Mac, and we'll end this show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's get it.
At the end of the day, Daniel Jones sucks. He's going to be the X. We talk about X factors. He's going to be the X factor this season. There will be no hiding anymore. There will be no ducking or dodging. You get injured, good night the lights. If you suck, good night the lights. If you don't get 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns like Baker Mayfield, good night the lights. That's all I have to say about Daniel Jones. He sucks balls. Let's move on. Mac.
All right, I'm not going to talk about Daniel Jones. I'm going to pose one more question before we get out of here, fellas. Just if you don't know if you can pull up week
Oh,
one,
the uniforms. I'm sorry, no Mets. Thank you,
or
Matt.
I can, or if you can pull up the week one schedule, fellas. I was going to say just
Oh,
pick
week
y'all
one.
game week one.
Oh,
Which
week one.
game you most excited for week one?
Real fast before we get into that, I'm sorry. No Mets wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on the flashback uniforms, throwback
They
uniforms.
they suck. So let's.
I think they're absolutely hideous,
Jeez,
but I also don't care one way or other. I don't care what they're
Is that
wearing
going to be the X
while they're
factor on
playing
Sunday
football.
to win the
Can you
game? Oh,
guys
your
care about
uniforms.
schedule release
But
videos and fucking uniforms for once? I'm just joking.
I mean, I'm not gonna go out and buy those jerseys when they hit the market, you know. But
I love it.
at the end of the day,
Fucking
I really
khaki
don't care one way
pants.
or another. I could care less. These motherfuckers are
Shit, my
getting paid
screen.
millions of dollars. They can put that ugly shit on and go play a football game.
They don't care.
I
Okay.
do. I honestly, I love the helmet. I have to be honest with you guys. I do love the helmet. I don't mind the uniforms. I mean, like, I'm just, it's. I'm so used to watching all these NBA teams go out with crazy ass uniforms, and all these college teams go out with crazy ass uniforms, and then it's just so blah in the NFL. And then, like, at least obviously it is kind of ugly, but I just love it because it's different.
You could have done so much better for 100 years. That's what you give me.
Absolutely.
That's
Okay,
what you
I
give me.
agree. I
Oh
agree
yeah,
on that. Now I agree,
nobody
but
gives.
no, yeah.
Nobody even was alive 100 years ago to give a shit about this fucking uniforms. They should have made it retro and new and something an alternate. They should have went all fucking black. That's what they should have done. 100-year anniversary. We're going all black because we're killing it. Instead, we go throwback to a dead time that none of us know about. There's not going to be one alumnus from the 100-year anniversary team that's going to be rolled out there on a wheelchair and say, "Here you go," wave to the crowd. No, yeah, the helmet's cool. The rest of the thing can kiss my ass, and that's about it.
Alrighty, guys. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but per Max question, let's just discount Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Obviously, if I mean, like, who doesn't want to see Baltimore versus Kansas City? I mean, like, that's gonna be a lovely. But if you guys want to include that with your answer, I'm not gonna complain.
I
That
will
is an
start with
amazing
the
team. But
Jets 49ers.
Jets 49ers, that is Monday night. What is your Sunday though? Let's just talk Sunday for now, and then we'll get into Monday, Sunday, and you know what I'm saying. Let's just pick a Sunday game. But if you want to go Jets for 49ers, not going to stop
Okay,
you.
then
It
I
is
will
week
take
one.
Houston against Indianapolis.
That's going to be a fun out. What do you have, Mac?
The Atlanta Falcons and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's
Ooh,
see
Yeah, I'm
that could
right
be a
on you with
strong
that
how
one,
showing.
bro.
dynamic that Falcon offense can
Yes,
truly
sir.
be against what we know is going to be a great Steeler defense.
Yes, sir. I'm right on that with that one. I mean, like, this is really gonna see they're really gonna white out the gates. I have both of these teams making the playoffs, and it's really we're gonna really get a lot.
I'm
I like to
surprised that
say
was
we
for
really
you.
don't learn anything the first 2 to 3 weeks. But honestly, I have been wrong in the past on that statement. I just think that there's a lot of sloppy ball played in the first couple of weeks, but I do love this Atlanta Falcons versus Pittsburgh game. And obviously, for me being biased, I do have my circle on Chicago versus Tennessee. I do want to see Caleb Williams work magic, and then of course we have that matchup against Los Angeles versus Detroit. That's going to be a fun out because Los Angeles Rams, they're aiming at a Super Bowl. They really are. They believe that they can really make the Super Bowl this year, and it's in their schedule release video. At the end of it, they put New Orleans. We'll see you, and they do a shout out to they're going
I'm
to be in
sorry I
Super
missed
Bowl.
that
So.
video.
With that being said, now a non-Sunday game, we do have three to choose from. We have Baltimore versus Kansas City Chiefs. We have a nice and improved young roster with Jordan Love in his second starting season in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers, that's going to be looking to upset Philadelphia at home. And then we do have the New York Jets versus the 49ers. And I let Adam go first because I think he's going to talk about Monday night. I don't think, obviously, he said it. But go
Well,
right ahead, Adam.
I'm intrigued because it'll be Aaron Rodgers going back to the Bay Area. Hasn't been in the Bay Area in a
They have
while.
real grass. They have real grass.
Yes, so that's a good start for them. This will be a good test out the gate for the Jets to really see what they are. And the Jets have 6 primetime games. So, last year they won on a They lost their quarterback, but they wanted a last-minute walk-off kind of kickoff. Punt return, this will be their test. This will be the litmus test to really think if the Jets are legit Super Bowl contenders, playoff contenders, or just fucking playing pretenders. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I love it. Mac, who do you got? Thursday, Friday, or Monday? What is your matchup you looking forward?
Obviously, kicking off the season, man.
Yes, sir.
And with a bang. You're talking about a game that could possibly be
the
prequel, so to speak, to what's going to be the AFC Championship game down the road in January, man. I mean, this can't get any better than this. Kansas City, Baltimore to start the season off, man. That's like that's
Thursday night games.
That's where it's at right there, man.
I 1,000%
You're talking
agree,
about
Matt.
two tremendous football teams. The debut of Derrick Henry with the Baltimore Ravens, because I doubt we'll see much of him in the preseason. You know what I mean? So, and then just Kansas City doing what Kansas City did. Patrick Mahomes got the new weapon. And the kid they drafted in the first round, the wide receiver, the speedy kid out of Texas.
Sure.
So,
oh my God,
let's go, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say I 1,000% agree with Mac. We are just on the same page. Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Kansas City. I get it, Adam. I get it. You're just trying to be different. I understand. Houston, Indianapolis, division rivals. That's gonna be super fun to watch. But I'm gonna have to. It's everybody's opinion here, and I'm gonna have to just say we're on the same page with that. Who doesn't want to kick off the season? Baltimore Ravens. We got Lamar Jackson that is just coming off of like God damn it, like he's gonna be mad at Kansas City, and then we have a Kansas City team that's just looking to 3-peat. Never been done in the NFL, so let's see if that could happen. And speaking of what Adam chose, it totally slipped my mind that the Jets was relevant because I had them winning everything last season. And I totally forgot about them when I mentioned my top 3 teams in the AFC. So they'll probably be at number 5 if I really had to even it out. Obviously, I got a tie for 3rd place in Baltimore and the Chargers, and I do have the Jets right there and in 4th place because I do think with the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, we really got robbed last season. Fuck MetLife for that stadium and that turf.
Yeah.
But that being said,
what happened to us? DJ's gonna drop back. Pop.
I really just wanted to see him ball out, man. I'm a big, when we see these great players fade out in basketball, you know what I'm saying? We're like, salute to you guys. And then when we see Drew Brees and Tom Brady, and now when you have Aaron Rodgers, nearing the end of their career, as of recently, it just kind of you kind of want to see them have one last ride before the young Bucks take over. Obviously, Patrick already took over, but you kind of do want to see maybe the Jets have that one final matchup against the AFC in the AFC championships against the Chiefs. So that is another team that I do want to see succeed this year, and that'll be fun to watch too. So I want to add them back to that list, and the Jets totally slipped my mind. So I want to thank Adam for bringing them and giving them a shout out because that is really going to be a prove-it game because they're going against the defending NFC champions in the San Francisco 49ers that just can't get over that hump, just can't get over the Chiefs. They get over the Chiefs, they're 2-time Super Bowl champions. But obviously, they have a soon to be, legendary last name coach. But in Kyle, that who knows if he ever is going to live up to his father's legacy. But I know that he is one of the great coaches right now in our generation. So I do eventually want to see Kyle get one. But it just goes to show you how great Patrick Mahomes is, kind of. Being that gatekeeper of the Super Bowl right now, kind of what Tom Brady did. Salute to Tom Brady. But like I said, I'm gonna pass it over to you guys. I'm ready to get out of here, and thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this great episode. You guys are awesome. Chat. Go right ahead, guys. Any other topic or any other discussion you guys want to have? If not, let's end it.
I'm good.
Can't believe I like that uni. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Thank you all for coming out once again to another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. I am Mac the Giants fan. That's Adam Costas, Zion Zenith. We are the Horsemen. We do this because we love talking sports. We love talking football. We love hanging out. We love busting it up with you guys in the chat. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. We always hold it down in the chat. Miz
Absolutely.
coming through, man. Everybody else, appreciate y'all. We had good viewership throughout this whole entire stream. Make sure y'all go hit that like, hit them like buttons on all our channels. My channel, Matt the Giants fan, AC's Adam channel, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, Hardcore Sports Network.
Thank you.
Appreciate the love, y'all. Appreciate the support, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Throw them fours up for our guy NYG Jeffy T, man. Throw them fours up. Always here with us, man. Always here with us. We'll be back with y'all again next Friday night, talking that talk like we always do, man. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Pass.